Hello, welcome to Technoveda Solutions. In this video, we will discuss about command line arguments. Till now, we have seen how the arguments are being passed to different functions. Now we will see what exactly a command line arguments are and how are they passed to a program. So let's begin. Command line arguments. These are the value given along with the execution of the program in the command shell. So when we give execution command in the shell, along with that we pass a certain arguments which are called as command line argument. As the name itself says, the arguments passed along with the command, in line with the command. So they are termed as command line arguments. These arguments are handled by main function. We know that in any C source code, we have a main function and it is mandatory to have a main function in source code program. So that main function will handle these commands. Typically, we have two command line arguments defined in main function. However, most of the compilers do support a third argument as well, which stores the environment variable. So the first two are quite important. We'll see first two in detail, and also we'll see how the third argument is given and how we can use that in the program. Now, the first argument passed to the main is argc, that is arguments count. That gives you how many arguments are we passing to the main function. By default, the argc value will be 1. That is, one argument is always taken by the main function by default. So the arg count will always be 1 if we don't pass any arguments. If we pass any additional arguments, then accordingly the count value of the argc variable will change with respect to the number of arguments we pass. Then the second argument what we have, that is argv, which is an array of string pointers. I have just mentioned here as an array. However, it is not exactly an array. It is very much similar to an array which is called as vector. So it is called arguments vector. We know that the properties of vector are very similar to the properties of array. The one speciality what vector has is its length can be changed dynamically, unlike array. Array are the static memory storages. The length of the array cannot be changed, whereas the length of the vector can be changed dynamically. So here the argv length will change depending on how many arguments we pass in the command line. So the first element of argv vector points to a program file. Just now we discussed that argc's default value is 1. So that one count is given because always argv will contain one pointer pointing to the name of the file or name of the program file. So here one more point we have to remember, argv is an argument vector which will have a pointers of a different strings. They will point to strings, and file name is also a string. So it will have the first pointer points to the name of the program itself. Then we can have additional pointers pointing to a different strings. So this is an array of string pointers. The length of vector is argc minus 1. That is the length of vector. We know that in the array always the indexing start from 0. So when we indicate the length of a vector, it is always maximum count minus 1. So argc is the number of arguments, minus 1 will be the indexing of the argv. And the last element of an argv points to a null character. That is argc of argc, if we check, that will point to a null character, or it is a null pointer. That means it doesn't point anywhere else. When we say a null pointer, it does not point anywhere. Okay, then The properties of command line arguments, if you want to see, first thing, they are passed to the main function. Provided when program is invoked, that is when we want to execute the program, along with that we are passing the arguments to the program. This particular feature or the property is used to control the program from outside instead of hard coding the program. We can pass some argument from the shell and control the operations in the program or control the execution flow of the program from outside the program instead of completely writing the program as a part of the body of it. So CL will provide us that flexibility. Now we will, we will see the code, how exactly we pass it. Now coming to the code, so we'll see how the code is written and how it is executed. So we'll include the header file. So here if you see, for the main function we are giving two arguments, that one is argc, another one is argv, which is a pointer, so we are giving a asterisk symbol just before that. So every element of an argv is a string pointer. Now, so first we are printing the first name of the program, that is the RGB of 0. We know, we just discussed that the first element of the RGB should be file name itself. So it should print me the file name. Then we are going to check if the argc count is equal to 1. Then we say that no arguments are passed, because by default it will be 1. And if the argument count is greater than 1, that is greater than or equal to 2, then we know that some arguments are passed. Then in that case, in the program we are going to print all the arguments which are passed to the function. Okay, so let's compile the code and run the code. So now if we see the code, it doesn't give any output in such case directly, because we have to pass an arguments. Only then we can see the changes happening in the code. Okay, so now here you can see it just says no arguments passed, because we just run the code directly without passing any arguments. So now I've given the file name as cla.c. So I know that the exe file generated is cla.exe. So I will just execute using the command, that is cla.exe. We should know that for the execution we should use dot forward slash as a command, cla.exe executable file. Now if I just run this again, I will get there are no arguments passed. Okay, now I will pass an argument, say hello world. Okay, I'm passing two arguments, two strings, hello and world. Now if I run, you can see here the argc is my file name, cla.exe, that it is showing argv of 0. argv of 1 is pointing to this hello string, and argv of 2 is pointing to this word string. So here we are printing that content of that string using the pointers, that is argv pointer. This is how the arguments can be passed to the main function. We also said that there can be an third argument which can be passed to the main, that is environment variables. So let's pass that value and check what are the environment variables we get. So that's also a string pointer, so character pointer, envp environment variable pointer. Okay. Then here we'll just copy this for loop outside the if condition, just change it to cnt. Now here I'll change it to cnt condition. I will put it as not equal to null, and here I will say C, and then here I will remove this string. I don't want this, I just print the string value, and I put slash n. Count is not there, I don't need any count, and this is just nvp envp of cnt. So this should give me the environment variables. So let's compile and generate a exe file first. So not equal to cnt not equal to null. Okay, okay, it's not cnt, actually it should be envp of cnt not equal to null. So the content of that not equal to null. Okay, now I should get the output. So this environment variable has to tell me all the environment in which the program is actually being executed. So it has shown me so many environment variable. You can see here it printed all the environment variable related to the program. So if I pass the argument, it will print along with the arguments. So anyway, we have a exe file. We know that a dot cla dot exe and hello world. If we print, you can see all the environment variables which are printed here along with our hello world. Okay, so you can see this is where we actually executed the code. So first it will giving us the file name and then the number of arguments passed, that is 3 arguments, and then the path hello and the second argument world. So I have not given a slash n, so it's continuing from there itself, which port, and then all the details of the environment, everything it is giving as a information. So we'll not get into details of these things, just we know that this envp will give us the environment variables. Okay, well, I hope you understood how the command or arguments work, how do we pass, and how are they used in the programming. So please click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. Thank you.